saying. All right. Just a little points of adding on the last shiur, which I would like to mention is there was we discussed the element from last year about Mitzrayim, that Mitzrayim is our surrogate mother, so that we were born in Mitzrayim, as if father is Yaakov or HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the 70 souls are the spermatozoids, and they created this nation. And then again, like all the nations, the history of the nations, there were always the two brothers that are coming out, the two twins, if you want, or one brother after the other, which could create this nation. Nation always is a combination of two different forces that have to keep their own identity but communicate to each other. And so in Mitzrayim, there were the Mitzrayim, the nation, the native, and then you have the Jews, the Hebrews. And the idea, according to Manitou, is that the idea is that there would be kind of two nations joining together and forming the big nation. But that project did not succeed, as also not Esau and Yaakov, as also not Avraham and Lloyd. And so basically, this is the interesting idea. The one I wanted to add is that indeed there is a medrash that says that when Klal Yisrael saw Mitzrayim coming, they saw the Mitzrayim, but they also saw him in the Loshen from Yochid. When they saw that the Mitzrayim were coming, that they saw in the Loshen that as if one Mitzrayim were coming. When they looked up, they saw Mitzrayim coming. Noisea is a Loshen Yochid. It's not a plural form, it's a form of singular form. And so Chazal tell us that they saw spiritually the Sar of Mitzrayim, the god of Mitzrayim that came. And then there is a saying, which is not directly related to that saying, to be honest, but it is a saying which is also, the source is not very clear from where it comes from. It's from Shor, it's from the Zoya. There is a that the Sar of Mitzrayim says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Alolo avoid the Zorah. So basically, he says we both are avoid the Zorah. So we both are avoid the Zorah, and that's why that was a taina, and the Klal Yisrael were afraid of that taina. The question is, what type of taina is that? Why would HaKadosh Baruch Hu listen to such a taina? Alolo avoid the Zorah. What did the Mitzrayim wanted to have from that taina? So what? But you are strong and they are weak. HaKadosh Baruch Hu likes to defend the weak. What is a taina that he wanted to tell them when he was going to run after them? But according to Manitou, it's very good, because the whole idea is who is going to come out of Yam Suf? Who is going to be born? Will it be the Ivrim, the Hebrews, or will it be the Mitzrayim? And so when they came, the Mitzrayim came, he said, oh, look, why do you prefer the Hebrews versus the Mitzrayim? We are both are both not good. So why would you prefer the Klal Yisrael first? And so the answer is, of course, because he promised to Avraham. So that's the first promise, but that's not enough. You need also to have a source. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what he did is Chazal tell us that they put them in a situation where they could not go anymore. So they couldn't go left, they couldn't go right because of the dangerous animals on both sides. They could not go at the Yam Suf, and Mitzrayim were coming from one side. So they were mamish stuck. The only thing that they could do is to jump into the Yam Suf, to show their allegiance, alliance, the loyalty to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And as the Meshach Chochmah explained last week, that's the highest form of complete intellectual belief. So it's the anti-religiosity, when you manage to take away all your emotions of survival. Jumping in the sea is the highest level of proving you believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu on the most intellectual ways, not using any emotions, being able to suppress any of your emotions, which is the typical emotion that people feel when they jump into water. And so that is the idea that according to that source, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, now I can fulfill the promise to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, because Klal Yisrael jumped into the Yam Suf, and hence this they had the schus, and the HaKadosh Baruch Hu could say, I choose Klal Yisrael over Mitzrayim, and Mitzrayim will be, actually, if they continue, they will be killed. In other words, it's not going to happen again like Esau, like Zorah with Peretz, or so it's not going to happen. This time, Klal Yisrael will come out, and together with the Mitzrayim, but the Mitzrayim only as an Erev Rav, not as a nation, but as a little helping secondary people that joined us as well. So this is a little bit the story to complement it, to be able to explain this difficult medrash. There is another point which I wanted to say, which confirms also Rav Kook's view, interestingly enough. So who jumped first in the Yam Suf? Who is the first that jumped into the Yam Suf? Nachshon and Aminadab. But apparently it's not clear. It's not clear. So the Machlokes Tanoim, who jumped first. So Rabbi Meir, and this is in Soite Daf Lamed Vov Medalov below and Lamed Zayin Medalov. So Rabbi Meir holds that it was actually the Shevet of Binyamin that jumped first. And Rabbi Yehudoh holds that it was Yehudoh that jumped first. And Rabbi Meir holds that when Binyamin jumped first, Yehudoh was very upset, and they started to throw them with stones. So Yehudoh Rogam Ragmosom, but they threw them with stones. So according to what? Palestinian Intifada, the first Intifada, yeah. So to explain the why is according to Rabbi Meir is Binyamin first, and according to Rabbi Yehudoh is Yehudoh first, is there is an interesting choices, which I'm not going to go into because I didn't have the time to check in the article and to see all the meforshim or the Ois Yehudoh. So I just discovered that this morning, so that's why I wanted to share it with you already. But here you see clearly that there is an element of, so you have the two, we already discussed the two forces, which is the Yosef and the Yehudoh. Yosef is the pragmatic one and the Yehudoh is the religious one. They both have a different task. So Yosef have to bring us to the nation, create a nation and build the kingdom, economy, security, all the rest, and Yehudoh have to create the Kedusha. And so the question is the Kriyas Yam Suf, is it a religious act, purely of religiosity, or is it a national act of purely going to Eretz Yisrael, even if we have to go through water and through valley, how does it say the expressions, go through the seas and the mountains, no mountains high enough to be able to get to where we have to get, or is it a religious act? And so yeah, so Meshach Chochmah clearly, because he holds that it is Nachshon ben Yehudoh. He brings down it to a Yehudoh. That's why Yehudoh, according to Rabbi Yehudoh received Malchus because they are the ones that jumped in. So he holds only that part. But there is another part in the Gemara that it's Binyamin that jumped in first, and that's why they received also kingdom, which Tosis explained which one they were. But I mean, we know Yeshua was from Binyamin, and Mordechai and Esther were from Binyamin. So, sorry? Shaul. So what did I say? I didn't mention Shaul. Shaul is. Maybe I said Yeshua. Yeah. I said Yeshua and Shaul. Sorry, yeah. Yeshua and Shaul, and what? Sorry. Yeah, but Nachshon is Yehudoh. Yeah. He's the first. So that's why, we paskin more, we are more assuming that it was Yehudoh. But you see, they are both. Tosis tries to say that one was told to go at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the other one was told to jump in 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's got interesting choices. I didn't have enough time to go through, but I think it's a very deep choices here. And I think it is a very, Machlokes was spiritual, but no. It's a fundamental machlokes because they both received different jobs, and so therefore they both saw it differently. So Binyamin jumped straight away, even when the water was still high, and Yehudoh did it slowly. So he went inside slowly. It's a spiritual cleansing experience, which is more spiritual. When you have to go to fight, you can't wait. You never wait. When you fight in the army, you don't hesitate. You jump in, which is the element of Binyamin. Binyamin is also it brought down the think the Mashur also brings down that Binyamin was it's a sign of courage, always courage. They are the same concept of what we discussed before. So you see here as well, again, the idea of who wants to come out first from Mitzrayim to be able to receive the kingdom, because Mitzrayim, the Yam Suf, because the Yam Suf is really the opening of the womb where we come out into the world. So here we have very interesting how those two again, and from Levi, yeah. Split. There is no, so it is Yosef first, and then Moshe is. So it always starts with Yosef, and then Yehudoh or Levi, or it's Rochel first, and then Leo that finalizes it. It's always the two first, yeah. Yeah, and then Moshe, yeah. On the other hand, you also have Moshe as being Mitzrayim and Yisrael, because Moshe Rabbeinu was an Ish Mitzri and also an Ish Ivri, so he has these both together. So Moshe incarnated the two nations as one. No, yeah, the wilderness, but with the Mitzrayim. We have also two brothers, Mitzrayim and Israel, and so Moshe is a bit the key. He could have bind them together and being the head of both, but they decided not. And so this story ended there. Mitzrayim finished, and it's only Israel that went up. The Mitzrayim could have joined together with them, and they didn't. That's the theory. Sorry? Yeah. That's also the idea of Masa Yoda Tovim Bayom V'atem Shiro. If you hold that it goes on the Mitzrayim, it's Kodesh Baruch Hu shows a little bit of how do you call it? Some kind of feeling emotions, positive emotions toward the Mitzrayim anyway. So there is such a concept. Why they were showing mamish? No, because they are the brothers. They were the mothers of our nation. So there is this a little bit of positive emotions. That's why we take out the blood, the wine. There is something that we have with the Mitzrayim that we don't see in other nations. There is still. Because here it's not Masa Yoda. The question is Masa Yoda goes on Israel or goes on the Mitzrayim. It's all achloikis. But here it says Kodesh Baruch Hu Yedidai Tovim Bayom. But that's a mistake because this is not Yedidai. It does not go on the Mitzrayim. It goes on the Israel. But unless you can learn the Gemara differently, there's also such a concept. Masa Yoda Yedidai. You could make all kind of shtiklach Torah as you want. It's also very interesting, which I found on the same and previous Omid, is we said also that Yosef and Yehudoh both could have been the Yankov of Klal Yisrael. So Yehudoh had a twin and had exactly the same story, that Zorach put his finger out and already thought, and then Peretz jumped out before him. And there was also Menashe and Ephraim, Menashe from Yosef, but also the same story that the older brother receives the first came the younger brother. So both of them had the chance to become the father of the Jewish nation. And but when they decided to join together, that's when the Jewish nation actually started. That's why I explained you why Sefer Bereshit stops with that last statement from Yosef HaTzadik, who says, I am with you, we're going to go together. Remember that is this coalition. There is a Gemara here, Hoy Yosef, Lotzes men Yud Beis Shvotim, Keder Shyotzam Yaakov Oviv. So the whole Gemara wants to say that Yosef was Roy on himself to have the 12 Shvotim, like Yaakov came out, because it says, Ele Toles Yaakov Yosef. So Ele Shyotzam Shechazar and Ben Zon, the whole Gemara here. But there is and Binyamin is the one that had 10 children. So the 10 children from Binyamin and the 2 children of Yosef would have made the 12 Shvotim. So this confirms the idea that from Yosef had the potential on itself to have 12 Shvotim in order to be able to create the Jewish nation. Again, it's a theory. It's not written in stone what I'm saying here, but it confirms a little bit the idea behind that. Sorry? Yeah. 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 But Yehudoh and Binyamin. Yeah, both. Binyamin. Yeah. And a bit maybe Shimon. So that's a Levi, but yeah, that's what. Yeah. The story is the number is a bit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The dominant part is Yehudoh is the dominant part. Yehudoh is the dominant part. Yeah. 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 Yeah, but that's why the Binyamin, that's the yeah. 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 The Yid is still the Golus. The Golus Yid is dominated by Yehudoh, Yehudim, and we'll see when it'll come to Megillas Esther, because it's the first time that the word Yehudah is in Megillas Esther. That's where Judaism started. When what? The Yehudah by itself. Ah, yeah, Yosef was a big, yeah, 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 yeah. Well, but it's clear, but this is the plan.
Sorry, I couldn't hear his question. I can't hear his question. Can you repeat his question?
So the question, it was no, the point is that it's clear that the idea of Yosef versus Yehudoh, there's two had to live, it was never a success. It was always a failure. Very quickly, the 10 Shvatim even disappeared, but they were still there with Binyamin. Binyamin is Rochel. So they were Binyamin and Yehudah had to work together. So there is, the 10 Shvatim is represented in the Binyamin. Yeah, we are a mixture of Binyamin and Yehudah. We are a mixture of Binyamin and Yehudah. And so that's why sometimes Binyamin comes out. That's the non-religiosity, the non-religious Zionism is the Yosef that comes out. And sometimes it's most of the time we are trained to suppress that Binyamin and to elevate Yehudah, which is religiosity, to feel connected to Hashem. That's the program. The program is to elevate the Yehudahism, because that's what keeps us. Because if it's going to be only Binyamin, then we would assimilate. There's no choice. So kind of in Golus, you have no choice. Sorry? Yeah. But that's Yosef. The whole Amim is his job is to create a nation like the other nation. But to make sure that he doesn't lose it, because there has to be a Goy Kodesh Mamleches Ve'amim, so this is only Yehudah that can bring it. We discussed last week also about the universality of the Torah. We in Haredism, we don't believe in the universality of the Torah. We believe that the Torah was given only to Klal Yisrael, and we already explained you what it means, and that it's not 100% sure. Even halachically, you see that the Goyim can be Mekayim mitzvahs, even Tefillin, Mila, if they want it, is their Mekayim mitzvah, although Mila and Tefillin are two things which are clearly is genetically given to Klal Yisrael, to Avraham, to his children of Avraham. And the Tefillin is also something that represents the Zefir of Tzias Mitzrayim. The Goyim didn't come out of Mitzrayim. So how does it work? So we saw that there are some modern thinkers that are pushing the universality of the Torah. Where I'm stuck a little bit is that although it's very nice, it's a very nice concept, and we saw some remnants, and there's the Goy, the Orla Goyim, but the Orla Goyim is one. We don't see it a lot in the Chamisha Chomshe Torah. In the Chamisha Chomshe Torah, you don't see that. It's very difficult to find hints that the Torah was given for the other nations. So you can say Mamleches Koyanim and Goy Kodosh. That's maybe a hint. But then this week I found another hint, maybe, unless you have other hints for universality. What? Yeah. Say. Yeah. So this is exactly. Yeah. And still v'solachti Hashem spontaneously. Yeah. In the Nacht.
But when the Rabbonim goes together and say, yeah, we're going to say Kosher, no, friend somewhere. So, what Hashem answered? Yeah, you are nice people. No, no. Yeah, I'm going to kill you, your family, everybody. If you eat this meat, I will take you anywhere. I will destroy you. It's not like you have a choice. We're not discussing there. When Moshe took the Arsinai, they all say, yes, we want the Torah. Yes, the relationship between Hashem and us, it's not a nice relationship. It's like Hashem order, we obey or we die. There's no discussion. Not like, yes, we can shoot. Maybe we are like other people. No, come on. There is all of that does not.
No. But what is the job? Is the job to translate this universal message to the nations, or is it to keep for ourselves?
That's my point. It's not opposed to faith.
No. Yeah, but okay, but
no, it's not a problem at all. At all. That's Hashem tells us we do it like this. Why you do it like this? We can discuss that. Us, we have to do it. Why? And
okay,
that's
you present Haredism as we say.
No, what you said is like for religiosity. Now, for religiosity, you cannot put any feelings, but all you discuss, if we have to show to the other, it's all you only speak about people. It's how when I do a mitzvah, how should I feel like to the others to see me, or I have to feel like it's only for
no, yeah.
We're not there.
No, but there is a okay, I understand what you're saying. When we are performing a mitzvah, it's not that we have to perform the mitzvah in order to show the other nations what we are doing. No, it's clear that we have to perform mitzvah because HaKadosh Baruch Hu asked us to perform it. It's clear. But there is a message that we want to give or not. The question is: this a message that's the Torah given only to Klal Yisrael, or is it given to whole humanity? That's the question. So that's a question. Now you're saying it doesn't make a difference for us.
For us, it
doesn't make a difference. But intellectually, the question can be asked.
No, that's what I'm saying. But the point is, when we do it,
there is no. Halachically, there is no.
To connect with what you said between Binyamin and yourself.
Yeah.
That's something that is hard for me. Okay, you speak about the Brazil and selfism or but that's very difficult because our point of view, if you are yourself for you, that doesn't matter for this. What is our point? Because at the end, it's the message you give to others. But I understand from you, you have, as a Jew, you have two ways of acting, or as yourself, or as Binyamin.
Yeah.
And this makes a difference. I mean, that's what I postulate when you
and there is,
from what I understand, there is no difference at all because
the truth is there shouldn't be a big difference because the Shulchan Aruch is what binds them together. The Halacha is what binds them together.
That's a joker. Let's say there is no Shulchan Aruch.
No, but that's what Rabbi Yoshua explains very nicely between the majestic man and the man of faith. The Shulchan Aruch binds them together.
Yeah, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
For me, that's a different story because that's more like you feeling to.
No. So the acts have to be the same, but one has a purpose is to create and build and do. And the other one is to learn and to philosophize and meditate and understand, etc. But the act, they both have to go and daven 3 times a day. They both have to eat kosher. They both have to, you understand what I'm saying? It's just that one have a purpose is the tikkun olam, and the other one has a purpose is in the connection with Hashem. Is the more the spiritual.
Yeah, but that's more like a second feeling. It's not. I mean, there are people that could be another people or people.
No. It's just what is the purpose?
Okay.
So here I have one maybe a hint which I found the Shabbos was so we have here normally we know the word lemor. I was time it says what does it mean lemor? What is the type of lemor? Yeah, but what does it mean? So what does it mean? So what is the lemor? So either it is because it's not. I always understood that maybe I'm wrong and I have to double check that, but I always understood is that it's not exactly how Hashem said it. So it's like Leimer azoitzizugn, meaning that it's not that Moshe talked to him maybe 2 hours, and then Moshe Rabbeinu wrote it. He wrote it in a very concise way. So this is the point that he wanted to make. So it's not an exact wordings that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him. That's one way. And the other one is azoitzizugn is to transmit. To transmit. So here it says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said all these words. Lemo. What do you mean with the lemo? Where is the transmission? So Rashi explained that here it can't be, because not the first part, like I said, cannot be, because these are exactly the words that Hashem said. And the second thing is also that HaKadosh Baruch Hu already talks to the people. So what does he doesn't speak to Moshe to tell to the people. HaKadosh Baruch Hu speaks to the people. So Rashi says, that they were answering, that they had to say something. But you can say also that it is maybe lemor is those lemor is for us to give over. So it's our universality that we have to give it over to the other nation. So this is one possibility. And another possibility is, which I found in Emmanuel Levinas, yeah, which I find in him, which is interesting, is he says, and I'm accepting now his, I've thanks to you, Michael, a little bit, I'm starting to learn Levinas. In the beginning, I was afraid that maybe he's an apikoiros, so I don't know what, but actually if I wouldn't know that it's from Levinas, I would think this is the son of the Chofetz Chaim or Talmud of the Chofetz Chaim. He writes with such a love for Torah, for unbelievable. I've never seen such a. Is tu as déjà une fois lu Levinas? I've never seen such a religiosity person. He loves religiosity, he loves Hashem, he loves the Klal Yisrael, he loves the Torah more than everything. Is Chazal, the Gemara is for him the main source of where we can learn everything. Unbelievable. I never believed that it would be possible. I was sure I would find already after 3 lines courses and critique and academic critique. Not at all. What? Because he was not religious. He was not really religious as such. So I don't know. I don't understand. I'm still in. I'm reading it, and okay, every page is like takes you an hour. Because and I'm reading a translation into English, but I try to find the translation in Flemish, but there's nowhere to find. So he says also, "V'lo itchem levatrem anochi koes avris hazois olo hazois ki es asher yesh me po imonai oy medayim fin Hashem Elokeinu ve'es asher enenu po imono hayom." This could also be that's what he brings down. This is a little bit universality. Normally we learn it. This is for our children, the next generation, which is simple. But he wants to say no. Means that this is your job is to spread it across to the all everywhere. Interesting. But this is the part of universality. We're still work in progress. Hopefully, we will be able to find more and more elements. Because to say it's only for us, it's easy. But to say it's universal, that's already a little bit more harder because we're going against the general acceptance in Klal Yisrael that it's only for us.
We see that we don't proselyte, we don't go out.
No, but this
have
could
other people convert Judaism.
not to Judaism, but maybe to monotheism and to morality and to chesed and to mishpat, to maybe this, yeah. Yeah, and also the fact that we don't proselyte maybe only historically started later. So it could be that we had an ambition, but we were forced to stop it because we were the underdogs, we were the weak. So it could be that it's not. There is such a concept of what? So, yeah.
We did this first when we are the power of the region. It's like when we can convert the mass, but we did stop them.
Yeah, we didn't let them.
No, we stopped.
Yeah.
So what we did, we have.
Yeah. There is more. There's more. It makes more sense to say no, that we're not. But the message, yes, the message oil agoim we have to be. So there is this oil agoim that we, and we as Haredim we don't live that. For us, it's like there is no element. We don't say good morning when we don't answer good morning in the lift. Somebody tells you good morning. We do not give that. Sorry? I think so. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. That's the biggest critique I receive, and I'm so embarrassed. I not heard it once. I had it already 2 or 3 times. People tell me that I lived in a building with Jews. I have to say, very nice people, but always the same thing. When I tell them good morning in the lift or in the Ganyan, they don't answer back. No, that's a critique that I have, and it's No, they tell me, like, yeah, I used to live in Antwerp in the Jewish area, but when you say good morning, you say hello, they don't. It's something which we need to work on.
Jews complain.
They're going. They're going. They complain. That, what, sorry?
Some Jews will
That they don't answer. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, but when they complain about us, it's no, I don't like. I don't. Sorry. The 10 says Hadibros, there are 10 commandments. So the idea we already discussed, and I feel like I'm repeating, but a lot of people are new here. But what are the 10 commandments? So normally you can look up in the, you should go up in the shul and you're going to see what are the 10 commandments, exactly the split of those 10 commandments. I want you just to know that it's not so clear. It's not mathematically clear cut that which are the 10. The Rambam, we follow the Rambam's opinion that Unoichi Hashem Elokecho and Lo Yeh Lecho Elokim, and then Lo Yisasa, Lo Yisishtacha. These are all one. These are two. Unoichi is one. One posuk is one mama and one dibur, and then Lo Yeh Lecho is a second one. And then we also assume that the two luchos are being split equally. So 5 dibros in one and 5 dibros in the second one. There is a makor in the Yerushalmi, and the Bavli does not mention that at all. There is no mentioning in how many was on one, how many was on the second one. And I always came to you, if you remember, a few times already, and I said that it's not like that, that there is an also Asseres, which is the one that have written the Sefer Torahs. They put Parsha Psucho after Lo Siso and before Zoches Yom HaShabbos Lekatche. If you look in Parshas Yisro, you will see a Samach. Samach is a parsha. Between each dibur, there is a parsha. Each dibur has a separate parsha, a samach. But there is, before Zoches Yom HaShabbos Lekatche, there is a parsha psucho. It's a pei, not a samach. You look in the Chumash, you will find a pei. Pei means the parsha psucho means that the writer has to start from a new line. The parsha stumo, it's a new chapter. He has to leave some space. The parsha psucho means that he has to completely start from a new line. So all Shaila, if the Sofer already came to the last word, the last line, and is a Parsha Psucho, so there will be no more, nobody will see, so he has to leave a free line in order to make sure that it is a completely new chapter. So the Parsha Psucho, the Rocher is very difficult. How come Parsha Psucho in the middle of the Lua? I would assume the best would be if to put it just before Lo Sichtzach. So the Parsha Psucho should be Lo Sichtzach. So there it's the new chapter is a new luach. Elomai that those are two luchos according to that Maser, that Lo Yeh, Lo Yisase, and Lo Siso are in one luach, and Zoches Yom HaShabbos Lekatche is on the second luach. Okay, so that was the story that I want to tell you, and this is also the early Christians have adopted as well. You will find in some paintings of the Christian paintings, you will find 1, 2, and 3, and then you will find 4, 5, 6, 7, so the 8, 9, 10. So they have 7 on 1 and 3 on 1. But that's also a discussion, why 3, why not 2, but that's a separate discussion. I'm not going to go now into the numbering of the 10 luchos, but there is such a concept. And I think that we have in Masoros as well, from the ones that were writing the Sefer Torahs, the Masoros from the Sofrim, that the second luach starts with Zoches Yom HaShabbos Lekatche. Now, to understand that, I already gave, and I will repeat a little bit, and then I will explain a little bit on the Shabbos. So I explained you a few months ago that we have 3 views of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and those 3 views are represented in our brocha, which is the Baruch Atu Hashem, Elokeinu Melech Oilom, Boire Prioetz. So we know HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The first is Galus from HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Elokim. The Reish is Bore Elokim, Vayikra Elokim, Vayomer Elokim. The first perek, Vayas Elokim, Vayikra Elokim, Vayomer Elokim. The word Elokim comes so many times. There's never any mentioning in the first perek of the word Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei. It's always Elokim. So Elokim is the God who created the world, is the God of nature. And therefore the Elokim also, that's what Ibn Ezra explains, that and also Manitou, but together they explain that therefore the idea of davening to Hashem did not make sense, because you don't daven to nature. because nature happens and you have to do the good job. So in order to avoid being sick and having success. But then there is Hashem Elokim starts to appear. So it's in Hashem Elokim, and it's a little bit comes later on is the Hashem as a separate name. And then when HaKadosh Baruch Hu said that Ushmi Hashem lo nodati lohem, that Ushmi Hashem lo nodati lohem, I never told them my name Hashem, Yud-Kei Vov-Kei, that's a contradiction, because we said it many times Hashem in Bereshit. So the Ibn Ezra explained that the name of Hashem in the Bereshit is no proper, is his proper name, meaning that this is the name that is written on his Etikal. And Hashem, which is here, is a Shem Toah, is a title, is a verb, it's a adjective of the name of Hashem. And so therefore, he explained when we say Hashem, Hashem, Kel Rachum V'Chamum, when we say on the Yud Gimel Midas or Rachmim, we say Hashem, Hashem, Kel Rachum V'Chamum. Why do we double Hashem? So Hashem, who is Hashem, like Moshe Rabbeinu. So Hashem as the no proper, who is the Hashem, Kel Hashem, Hashem, Rachum V'Chamum, Kel Rachum, whatever. Yeah. So we have Hashem and Hashem. So it's Hashem. The first one is the no pop, and the second one is his title. The title is a verb, and therefore the title, the verb, represents that he is over nature. He can even change nature. So he's not only behind nature that controls nature, but he's also is the idea that he is can even change nature. And we also saw that this Hashem that can control nature, he has what we call a certain personality. So the idea behind that is that Hashem is not just a machine that the controller of a machine, which when you do good, you receive good, when you do bad, you receive bad, but there is also more, Hashem is not predictable. You do not know exactly when Hashem will give you, when not. He has a time when he's pushing off his punishment, and that you don't know when. So there's no, you cannot predict Kodesh Baruch Hu. Kodesh Baruch Hu is unpredictable because he has what we call a personality. And this is represented in the Hashem, Yud-Kei Vov-Kei, especially the Hashem that Shmi Hashem no nodati lohem. It's already a little bit in the Hashem Elokim. I'm not going to go into it, the whole shield, which I already gave before, but the Ibn Ezra, because Hashem has an ambition and he wants you to succeed. So he's not just somebody who throws neshomas, produces neshomas, throws them in the world. Whoever succeeds gets olam haba. Whoever fails goes to whatever. And, yeah, it's not just like that. He has also a will. He's hoping that you will succeed, and he's going to help you. So you're going to ask him his help. He's going to help you to succeed. So there is. It means, in other words, there is a personality. And so the idea here is that, as I explained you at the time, so Boruch Ato Hashem. So we are talking directly to the Yud-Kei Vov-Kei, which is the Mekoira Brocha, which is the Brocha is the opposite of Teva. Remember? So the Brocha means that this is the double of the Teva. So it's whenever there is a Teva, you do 1,000. When you want a Brocha, from the 1,000, you can make 2,000. Brocha does not mean that you will receive 1,000 from doing nothing. You first need 1,000, and then from the 1,000 come to 2,000. That's why Chazal always say that the nest only comes from an existing. And you have to have a little bit of shaman in order for the shaman to grow, but you need a little bit of shaman to be able to grow. You want to ask a question?
Yeah. What
Yud-Kei Vov-Kei.
what word you use
Who?
to say what
No, so this is a Shem. No. So the personality is Manitou. Manitou.
Yeah, what name personality? What
Yeah.
word?
It's Shem Torah. The Ibn Ezra calls it the Shem Torah. So it's not because it gives you who he is. It's fine. Shem Torah means it gives who he is, meaning what is his personality.
That's how we put it. Shem Torah translates
Into personality. Yeah. It gives a personality. He has a wanting and a will for you to succeed. He will not change. Hashem Elokim from Sefer Bereshis will not change nature, but he's going to tell you, go there, lech lecho, change your name. So he's going to do all kinds of tricks. But the Hashem of Sefer Shmois is the one that changes nature, the snare, the mess of the snare. And you asked me at the time, what about the Mabul? There's all so also somebody asked me Yeah, I already gave this share here. We spoke about that, about the throwing of the Ur-Kasdim. Yeah. But here, what is interesting is therefore the two luchos, Asseres Hadibros, they both start with a different Hashem. So, like I said, Baruch Atu Hashem means the Hashem as the personality, and therefore it's Mekor HaBrocha. Elokeinu Melech Oilom. What does it touch? What is Elokeinu Melech Oilom? Elokeinu means our God, which means Elokeu Ivrim. He is the Melech Oilom. He's not only the God of the Hebrews, but he's also the God of the gods. Remember, I always repeated it, it's the Elokeu Elohim. He is the God of all the gods of all the nations. So therefore, our God is Baruch Atu Hashem, who is also Elokeinu, our God, which is the Melech Oilom, is the God of the gods. And the Boire Priwates is the creator of the apple. So he is also the creator. So this Trinity, the three different views that we have of Hashem, which is the God of the gods, the Koir HaBrocha, the regional geographical God, which is the Elokeu Ivrim, and the creator, the original creator, this is all one. This is the Yichud of Hashem that we do when we make a brocha. Every time we're going to eat, is we claim and we scream, we shout the Yichud of Hashem. And so the two luchos actually represents those two elements. So Noichi Hashem, Noichi represents the Ani, but it's in a very strong form. Noichi means me as a personality. Yeah, it's the strong me. It's Hashem is not just something, but he has a personality. Hashem Lakecha she'etzichu me'eretz Mitzrayim. I took you out from Mitzrayim. Therefore, I'm not just a regional God. I am the God of the gods, because otherwise, how can I? How can Elokeu Ivrim? How can a God from the Hebrew land of Hebrews, go into Mitzrayim and make a balagam and take out his nation? This is not possible. It's not in his jurisdiction. So the fact that he went out inside, no problem. The fact that Hashem went out of his jurisdiction and went into Mitzrayim, that shows us that the God of the Hebrews is not just a local God, but he is also the God of the gods. So he can actually go outside of the jurisdiction.
Where we have, I think, take the Greeks, right? They go all over. They can fight, you see, the Troy fights, they go, this one goes here, and they go to Troy, and they fight there.
Yeah.
But this is not.
But they also explain that they have different. So you have the God, the local God, and then you have the gods which are transcendental, kind of. They are more gods of beauty or God of. But you have these more. What? No, but it says Elokei Mitzrayim es Shvotim. So there is a local God. So there is the gods that are local. The Shar Oyer explains
so it goes over. Okay, so we take the logic of the local ones, above one.
Yeah. It's the Shar Oyer. What? Sorry. Local. So the God of the Nilus and these are all local gods, and that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu says. I'm showing you that I am the God over those gods. So you are lucky because you have direct access to the God of the God. And this is what he says, Hashem Elokecho, I am the God, El Hashem, Onochi Hashem, which is the me as a personality, Elokecho, which is your God, meaning that I've proved you that I am not just the local God, but I am the God of the gods. So it's all the same. And because I'm a personality, so therefore, in the first luach, it's all about respect and emotion. Why? Because I am a jealous God. It shows about emotion. Don't disrespect your God, because I feel pain when you go to Avodah Zorah. So it's the kel kano, it's the emotions. Yeah. They are? Yeah. But this we already gave a shiur that we are not monotheistic. We believe we are Judaism is monotheistic religion. It's not a religion. It's not monotheistic. That's the point for Manitou. Yeah. Sorry. The Kabbalah is Shara Oyer. Yeah. Shara Oyer is in Mefurish that there are different gods in the nation. Each nation has a god. 70 nations. So it's like a viewpoint. It's called a Sar. It's a minister or representative or whatever it's called. But this is the kinuyim of Hashem. It's also Hashem be'etzem. It's the kinuyim of Hashem. It's the backside of Hashem. That's why it says al ponai, not in my front, because in my back there are other gods. Kodesh Baruch Hu splits at the back. That's how the Kabbalistic split. It's not very monotheistic. That's why it's very controversial, but it's a different view of the. Yeah. So the Rambam is very much anti that concept. Yeah. Oh, we'll speak about that. How magic happens and what is the why is Hashem really against Kishu? We'll speak about that, but that's not for yeah. What is a Porsche shot? Yeah. Yeah. The intermediates are shluchim. Yeah. I understand. Yeah, you can say that what you're saying is that those are shlichim, and I can daven to a shliach to make a job. And so Hashem said, don't daven to the shlichim, daven straight to me. That could also be, yeah. What? Shitu, yeah. So. Not for us, not allowed. That's why it says, I'll put nobody, straight to me. You come straight to me. You daven to Hashem. Don't daven to the sun or the moon or anything that helps. Yeah. You are right. I agree with you. Yeah, it was more provocative. Yeah. We don't ask the rebels to help us. We go straight to Hashem. That was also provocative. So this is the first one. That's why not to use his name in vain. This is really about covered. He's got feelings and he is a personality. So he should be respectful to Kodesh Baruch Hu. So this is the first duach. First duach represents his nature of personality, of a kind of kaviyuchal emotions. Of course, Kodesh Baruch Hu cannot have emotions, but it shows us emotion, and so therefore we have to also respect to him with the same kind of an emotion as we would respect. And then the second luach is about the Elohim, the one that had created the world, the Boyer Olam. Therefore, it starts off with straight away with Shabbos. Why? Yeah. So there can be Hashem. Would it be nice if we would have said also Elohim? So with that story, I'm a bit stuck. Because he should have said Hashem also Elohim, because it's Elohim that Borei Soilom, and Hashem here, so it's a bit. But in any case, so this starts with all the laws which have to do with the Tikkun Oilom. That's to do with the how to create to be an attack in the world, to correct the world. And so the first sentence is Zocher es Yom HaShabbos lekatcher. And there I wanted to say something today. What does it mean Zocher es Yom HaShabbos lekatcher? So what is the Yom HaShabbos? So there is a very interesting thing that we say every Shabbos. We say Mizmer. But what do the Levim say on Shabbos? Mizmer Shir Liyom HaShabbos. It's a capital in Tehillim. So Mizmer Shir Liyom HaShabbos. How does it go? So the Chazal continue. The Mishnah in Tomit at the end. Mizmer Shir Leosid Lovoi Liyom Shekulei Shabbos Menucho Lechai Yehu Elomin. So it's very interesting. So Mizmer Shir Liyom HaShabbos. What do they say? Is Mizmer Shir Leosid Lovoi. So the Yom HaShabbos doesn't mean the Shabbos now. It means the Osid Lovoi. The Shabbos represents the Osid Lovoi. Le'yom shekul Shabbos u'menucha l'chai Elomim. It's the day that everything will be, every time will be Shabbos and Menucha is l'chai Elomim.
We'll be retired.
Sorry?
We'll all be retired.
We'll all be retired. We'll have done our job. So basically what we are saying is the Yom HaShabbos represents the day that we will come to the end of our job. So I already said the job of every human is to do a tikkun olam. Hashem created balagan, toyovoyu, separated, and then you stop, created humans, and now up to you. You have to continue, you have 6,000 years to continue the job of tikkun olam, and then The idea that you have to live is to live with an idea that you are doing a job that you have a purpose. Do I have a purpose in this world? Is to do the tikkun olam and not to live just for the now, but to live for the future. That's why it says, Zucha is Yom HaShabbos lekatshri. Kedusha means purposeness. What means that Hashem is Kodesh? What does mean holiness? Holiness means that I live with a purpose. I have a purpose. That's the idea. The Cholin is nothing. Kedusha is I put it away for something. So I have to live a purpose. So Zucha is Yom HaShabbos. Which Shabbos? Remember the Yom HaShabbos, the Yom Shekule Shabbos, Lo Sid Lovoy. The Chazal, he touched Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbos also, Mizmor Shir Lo Sid Lovoy. It is, Pneumius of the sentence means, remember that there is a Yom HaShabbos coming. So you should live like Katshoy, to live with a purpose. In other words, everything that you do should be a preparation for the day of when the world will be completed. And this is the idea behind it. So we as a Jew, we have to represent that, we have to symbolize it, to say that that we are working, we're only working in order to prepare for the next day. The Shabbos, the Isur Melucha, my Chiddush, that's my Chiddush. The Isur Melucha is not because Hashem wants you not to do a Melucha in Shabbos. He wants you to prepare for the Shabbos. The whole idea of the Shabbos is don't do it on Shabbos, but do everything on the whole week before. You have 6 days to prepare for the Shabbos. So Vechinu, as he says in Vechinu, that the whole idea is that you should be, that Moshe Rabbeinu says that you should prepare, that everything should be prepared. So it is the preparation which is the core element of the whole Shabbos. It's not the rest on the Shabbos, but it is the preparation for the Shabbos to symbolize to the whole world that we are not in this world. This is the beautiful world. There is still something to come. This world is not beautiful. It still can be better and better, and we have to continuously improve the world. It's very nice that he brings down I will bring not Rav Sherki, but his brother Eliezer Sherki. He has a brother Eliezer Sherki, and he mentions also Talmud from Manitou, but he mentions also, he says that Islam is, the idea of Islam is that the world already is perfected, and this is, you can't change anything anyway, and the idea is that you do everything you can do here in order to get there. So there is no plan on this world. That's why they don't mind to blow themselves up, because this world is not there is no job in this world unless to completely submit to Hashem. That's why when Soros saw that Mishmol was metzachek, when Mishmol was metzachek means that he is happy now. So he said this is not somebody, because Yitzchok is a future tense. We will laugh later. Yitzchok Yisrael is that we are hoping for, we're going to laugh. We will only laugh later. Now we have a job to do. We are still in the process of building. But the Islam, the Yishmael, he is already metzachek. He's happy with the world here. And we have to do as many mitzvahs, then we'll have a schar in olam habo. But the idea of a Jew is no, we have a job to do. We are metzachek. In Yitzchok, we will laugh in the future sense. So that's how he heard it from Manitou, explaining the difference between Judaism. He's a specialist in Islam. Yes, what? Islam, yeah, something like that.
Christianity is the same stuff.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, possibly, yeah. You can say that maybe Christianity as well, but Christianity has the difference between Christianity and us is a bit more complicated, more subtle. But apparently between Islam, that's how he's an Islamolog, and he claims that this is different. They believe that this world is here and that is to be, and nothing is no. I don't think they believe in Tfias HaMesim anyway. There is no. So they believe that this is the world, this is the end station from the world. We believe no, this is only the beginning, and we have a job to do to bring the world into to bring it better. And we see it in the world. The world is. They don't develop. That's why I explained. They don't develop themselves. They don't care about this world. They are pushed. The imams pushing this world is just a passageway. Prosdor.
No, they have a work on this world. They have two things. They call the Dar al-Islam and Dar al-Arab. So you have the regions that are of the Islam and the region of the world.
Yeah.
Because the idea is to Islamize the whole world.
Yeah.
That's their purpose of this world.
Yeah.
So saying that they just don't care about this war is not really true, because their purpose is like on the strategy games. They need to have the full world.
Yeah, but they see this world as a job, like I said before. Jobs here, try to do as much, and then.
No, but there's this purpose of making the work to the world.
To make one nation, actually, you're right.
Yeah,
There's also the one nation of Islam.
It's like Christianity in this way, so it's not finished. They need to finish it, and then they have the end of the world with the
apocalypse. Yeah.
No, there was also a Mashiach, and something funny. I read it. I reported to YouTube. There was a big rabbi in Israel 2 years ago spoke about what they call, I forget the name, about the fake Moshiach. I think there was a picture of Kanievsky.
Yeah, I've seen that.
No, it's in French actually.
What?
It was in French stuff, and the guy was saying in Islam they have the fake Moshiach that Jewish people will follow. And they have to fight against this fake Mashiach that the Jews will follow. I say, you look, Kanievsky is saying he's coming.
Yeah. I've seen that the critique on us. What? Sorry. No, it doesn't help. I don't know. I like to watch it because it's good to always see how the anti-Semites thinking. Because first of all, there is always, like I said, there's always a little truth that you have to understand in order to be able to work on. There's always some little truth. Like I said last week about the parasites, and there's always a little point of truth, but they don't understand what the purpose. They don't see the purpose of the Tikkun Olam. That there is a Tikkun Olam. You understand? So this is why Zocha is Shem HaShabbos Lekatcher. This is the very first sentence. Remember, the Yom HaShabbos Lekatcher means the Yom Shekulasher, that you should live a purpose in order to create. This is the whole. That's why it have to be mentioned. The Sichtzar, the Sinov, the Signov. These are all how to be a mensch, how to be a human being in the morality when you are building the Sheishes Yomim Tavoid. This is the biggest mitzvah here. This is the biggest mitzvah. Sheishes Yomim Tavoid Vosiso Komelachtecho. We Haredism tend to say, no, this is for the second class citizen Jews. But this is the element, you have to build in order to prepare for the next world. And this is the idea of the Zohar Shana Shabbos Lekatcher. It's the Yom Shekulish Toiv, Yom Shekulish Shabbos Umenucha, the Chai Olamim. We say it also in the Rachamon, in the Benshim. I don't know, we say it in the Rachman also, Rachman Yach Elenu, Yom Shekulish Shabbos. So we say it a multiple times. So we touch the Yom HaShabbos not as a Yom HaShvi, but it's the day that is going to come. And this is the idea of the world. Why is the world happening? So the two luchos, and we take the two luchos, we put them one on top of the other, we put them in one box to show the unity. That Klal Yisrael believes and serves the God, which has those three elements, both the creator, the nature, and the Tikkun Olam, but also the God which has the powers and the God of the gods, which we are lucky where we can daven to the God of the gods. That's something which is unique to the Jewish people that the Goyim don't have. The Goyim cannot daven to Hashem. They can ask us to daven to Hashem eventually, but normally it's not. That's not the purpose. So we have this advantage. They can daven to their gods, so that's what they can do, but not to our God. Because our God is the God of the God. As the Sharoer and the Yehudoh explained, I already gave this whole shir before. And this is the idea of the two luchos that are being put together. So maybe Takvi Zoiche to be noichel to the day of the Yom Shekule Shabbos u'Menucha L'Chaye Ha'Olamim. Avec plaisir.